Hey, Pastor Cliff here, and I want to share with you a devotional titled How to Know God's Voice from John chapter 10, verse 25 to 27. Jesus said, I told you, and you do not believe. You do not believe because you are not among my sheep. My sheep hear my voice, and I know them, and they follow me. So the first point that I want to share you out of three is that the issue is relationship, not information. Jesus said something very striking. You do not believe because you are not among my sheep. So these people, the Pharisees and Sadducees had seen his works, they had heard him speak, but they still did not recognize him. They did not appreciate his divinity. Why? Because the issue was clearly not a lack of evidence. The issue was a lack of relationship. They were with the Messiah, but they had not been able to relate with him. And that's important for you and me. You don't recognize God's voice just because you hear many sermons or consume a lot of Christian content. You actually recognize his voice because you walk with him. Point number two, knowing the voice of God. Jesus said, my sheep hear my voice. So basically, sheep recognize the shepherd because they have gotten familiar with his voice. The shepherd is consistent. The shepherd is giving them instructions consistently. And so they are able to recognize his voice out of the many other voices. And here is really the key principle. You don't become good at spotting the fake by studying every false voice. So the sheep don't concentrate on other voices. Instead, you become good at spotting the fake by knowing the genuine. So the sheep are able to recognize the voice of the shepherd because they have heard it over and over again. So in other words, the more time you spend in God's word, in prayer, in fellowship, the clearer his voice becomes to you. Point number three, and the last one, recognition leads to following. Again, Jesus said, and they follow me. In other words, once the sheep hear the voice, they are able to follow the instruction because the instruction comes through the voice. So hearing God is not the goal, but hearing him and then following him is the goal. So definitely the goal is following God. So many voices may sound appealing. Some may even sound spiritual, but the voice of God always leads you in truth, in obedience, and in alignment with his word. If you are struggling to discern God's voice, don't start by chasing other voices. Start by deepening your relationship with him. Because when you know God, when you know the shepherd, you will be able to recognize his voice. So know God's voice so well that every other voice becomes easy to question. So if this encouraged you, please like it, share it, and subscribe to the channel so that you can get more of these and many other videos that I'll put up. And also I've shared a full devotional on this on my website, so you can check out the link in the description below. God bless you, God keep you, and see you in the next one.